A consistent remark that I've heard levelled at The Mandalorian and Grogu from those who've seen early screenings is that it's kind of a kids' movie, you know, and it's not really surprising. I mean, from the very first teaser trailer, it had the feel of a very cartoonish movie, in my view. And I would say even the quality of the CGI in places looks cartoonish and not up to the usual standards that we would expect from this franchise. I'm not sure what's happening with some of these visuals, but they just look lower grade than usual. Anyway, on Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter, which is the critic score, is just 60% from 119 reviews at the moment. So some conclusions can be drawn from that already. 60% for a critic score is pretty lukewarm for a reception for a Star Wars film, which should be a massive summer crowd pleaser. But the reviews that I've read online are very, very mixed. I would say mixed to low, mixed to poor. The film will release to the general public on the 22nd, which is just 2 days from the time that I'm recording this video, and already it's not looking great. Over on Metacritic, the current review score stands at just 54, which is close to the Rotten Tomatoes critic score. So again, very middle of the road. Again, audience scores are not in yet, but usually we find that critics are more forgiving than audiences. So I'm not expecting much from the audience score when that comes in. So I'm going to take a look now at a few headlines that I found interesting. This is from the independent.co.uk. The Mandalorian and Grogu review. Stick a fork in Star Wars, it's done. With just 5 minutes of Pedro Pascal and a completely dispirited voice performance from Jeremy Allen White as Jabba the Hutt's son, this is the dullest and most inconsequential Star Wars ever made. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. Just 2 stars out of 5. Variety had this: Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu review. An efficient adventure that only pretends to be a real Star Wars movie. Maybe that's a good thing. Jon Favreau directs a big budget movie with a tidy small screen consciousness. But that might be what Star Wars now is. Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose to expand on that point, some of us have been saying this since the first trailer came out. Why make a movie based on the Mandalorian TV series? I mean, sure, the first season was decent enough, but it didn't really... I didn't really see anything about that series that warranted it having its own major motion picture in the Star Wars saga. And I have seen other reviews where people are saying that the film feels like a long episode of the TV series. Gizmodo had this: The Mandalorian and Grogu is not the way for Star Wars. And in the article it says, The Mandalorian and Grogu has little winks, nods, and Easter eggs throughout. But it doesn't tell a vital story that pushes the characters or series into new territory. Instead, the story just kind of flies by without any major consequences, hoping that you'll smile and walk out of the theatre happy. It's just fine, which isn't fine for Star Wars. And so, by those metrics, The Mandalorian and Grogu is far from a success. It's not exactly a failure either, but it's close. Ultimately, Star Wars is supposed to be a high-caliber sci-fi fantasy franchise. At least it was up until the sequel trilogy. And really, it has been a shadow of itself in recent years. But actually, I would go back further, because I found the prequel movies to be largely unwatchable. And I know that's divisive to say that, but I think The Phantom Menace feels like a kid's movie. It feels like a kid's cartoon. Attack of the Clones was just a CGI mess, and I couldn't sit through all of Revenge of the Sith. Just being honest. Most fans will at least acknowledge that the prequel films were made by George Lucas, and so therefore deserve some recognition as the product of the mind of the creator of Star Wars. Fair enough. But as I've said many times, Star Wars is truly just the original trilogy, and that's probably where it should have stayed. As for The Mandalorian and Grogu, It's not looking good. In fact, everything that I'm hearing about it just sounds mediocre, especially when one considers the high bar this franchise used to achieve. That's a quick one for you today, guys. I'm going to wrap it up there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Computing Forever. Hit that notification bell to be notified of future updates. Hit that like button. Share the video out there. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.